Shall we pray? Father, we thank you for this morning. We are so grateful for your mercies and your kindness. We are grateful also for a very successful program that started on Tuesday and we are ending today. We pray. We commit the audience before you and even those who are coming to speak to them, the minister and all the entourage that will be here to grace this occasion. We ask that at the end of today we will give praise to you, because then you have broken all the chains and made us have a great weather and a great program today, and then we will give you all the praise. In the name of Jesus, how we pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Okay, great. Let's populate the platform. I'd like to bring on first onto the stage Director for Local Content at the Petroleum Commission, Mr. Kuku Boateng. Yes. Yeah, I think there are stairs there as well. So we'll leave the first chair unoccupied for our silent guest, invisible guest. You can sit here. Yes. All right. Okay. And then we'll bring on the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Ghana Industries, Mr. Seth Chum Akwabwa, to keep Mr. Boateng company. Please sit on his right as he's facing the audience. Then we'll also have Deputy Minister for Energy to help us get on the stage, Mr. Honorable William Oriku Edu. Yes, we have a place for you. Seated in the presence of your friends. Yeah. So you sit next to Mr. Akwabwa. And then also from VRA we'll have Mr. Edward Obing Kenzo. And last but not the least, from NPG, we'll have Dr. Stephen Yamwa. Yes. Excellent. Thank you very much. I don't know whether the energy field is a very male-dominated area, but we always see our men. Hopefully we'll have some women in the panel later on in the day. Now let's hear from the Chief Executive Officer of I beg your pardon. Let's have a welcome address by Mr. Edward Obing Kenzo. He's the Deputy Chief Executive Officer in charge of Engineering and Operations at VRA. He's going to welcome us formally.
Thank you. Good morning once again. I'm here welcoming you all in the name of the Chief Executive of VRA, that's Emmanuel Intridakwa. I'll start by welcoming the Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister of Energy, William Oreku Edu, President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Secretary of the African Continent Free Trade Association Secretariat, Chief Executive Officer, Petroleum Commission, Executive Director, Nuclear Power Ghana, colleague Chief Executives, Captains of Industries, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and a pleasure to welcome you all to the 5th edition of the Ghana Industrial Summit and Exhibition under the auspices of the Association of Ghana Industries, ably partnered by Volta River Authority and other business sponsors. Let me take this opportunity to first and foremost recognize and welcome the presence of dignified personalities in the person of the Deputy Minister of Energy, Honorable William Oreku Edu, the General Secretary of African Continental Free Trade Area, Wamkeli Meni, AGI President Dr. Humphrey Kwesi Eni Dake, and investment expert Sean Dugan, as well as the numerous AGI, GISE partner agencies and business investors. We are excited that you could make time to join us again on day 3 of this summit and exhibition. Ladies and gentlemen, as a key partner of the GISE since its inception, I must say that VRA has witnessed this initiative grow in a very appreciable manner, and for the 5 years since, VRA is proud to have joined hands with AGI in this regard, living by its mission of creating a global platform for industrialists to discuss pertinent issues confronting the business sector. The collaborative effort by AGI has thus intensified investment promotion for Ghanaian businesses. It is my firm belief that this year's summit will exhaust the discussion on the theme, investing in Ghanaian industries to leverage opportunities in the single Africa market, by providing practical proposals and solutions that will revitalize private sector investor participation in Ghanaian businesses, by leveraging opportunities from trade agreements like the AFCFTA to drive strategic growth and ensure a quicker post-COVID recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, it is no secret that VRA and the industries have had a great working relationship and collaborative effectively to ensure national development. For the past 61 years, VRA's operations have formed the backbone for industrialization in Ghana. The deregulation of the energy market, which led to the entry of independent power producers, IPPs, saw VRA evolving to work as a public sector institution with private sector mindset, and currently supplying about 53% of Ghana's power needs. Our ability to rise from a single 912 megawatt hydro generation plant to a nearly, in the early 60s, to a diversified portfolio of hydro, thermal, and solar energy, generating a capacity totaling 2,532 megawatts, amidst an arduous competition and industry changes, gives credence to our long history in power operation dynamics that support industry. This is therefore we have dedicated ourselves to sharing with the Ghanaian business community in collaboration with other institutions within Ghana and across the globe. Power is an invisible force and a facilitator of prosperity to Ghanaian industries. And with our 61 years experience as a power utility, the Volta River Authority is poised to deliver efficient, reliable, and cost-effective energy solutions to Ghanaian industries, and also offer technical advice whenever the need arises. In order to open a path for resilience for Ghanaian industries, let me reiterate that at this summit, we are opening our stock of experience to all and sundry. To conclude, I must say this: GISE Summit is a key springboard to industrial growth in Ghana. I am certain that all of us are very appreciative for the opportunities to be a part of it and engage with captains of industries and other relevant stakeholders to ensure that we promote Ghanaian businesses, revamp industry, and give our businesses the needed visibility to help them grow in leaps and bounds. Once again, I welcome you all to this important session of the summit. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obin Kenzo, for the warm welcome. We'll now take remarks from the Chief Executive Officer of the AGI. Let's welcome Sir Seth Chum Akwabua.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you all. The president of AGI is supposed to be with us. He's had an emergency, so he'll be joining us in the course of the program. And let me first acknowledge and really appreciate the presence of the Honorable Deputy Minister of Energy, Mr. Honorable Orekom Edu, for joining us today. Indeed, he was here with us last year. Consistently, he's been very supportive of the industry summits, and we very much appreciate your coming and your support. I would also like to acknowledge the Deputy CEO of VRA who just spoke to us. And I also like to acknowledge our very dear friend, Dr. Amwa from the National Nuclear Power Ghana, who have also been one of our key partners over the years. Indeed, today is dedicated to energy. And as you appreciate, for the past 3 days, we've been here talking about industry and discussing issues that affect industry and how we can move Ghanaian industry forward. The third day has always been dedicated to energy. And indeed, VRA has been very supportive of this day. And they are leading this day, hence the opening address from them. We are also happy to have the Director for Local Content at the Petroleum Commission with us today, representing the CEO of Petroleum Commission. I must say that those of you who would recall, this event started as local content exhibition and conference, and we used to partner the Petroleum Commission until it got to a point where their program on local content took a very high stage. So we ceded that part to them, and consistently they've been doing it. But we still invite them to this program because they have a role to play, and we believe that they are very critical to what we're doing, and their local content issues is basically for industry. So we are happy that Mr. Kokubuati is here and will be speaking to us also. Indeed, when it comes to energy issues, industry is key. As we know, when the Kusumo Dam was built, it was largely for industry. Residential usage was a smaller percentage of it. Today, residential usage has grown and is almost at par with the industry. But it was really for industry, so energy is critical for industrial growth. For AGR members, what is most critical to us is having consistent, reliable, and regular supply of energy at competitive price. All these elements are very important. Consistent, reliable, and regular supply of energy at competitive price. And how do we achieve that? It is through our organizations, VRA, ECG, Gridco, and all the players there who can help us achieve this. They've been doing a good job, but sometimes we have cause to worry when it comes to the energy tariffs. And as was announced this week, energy tariffs have been a challenge for industry, and AGI has been advocating on this for a very long time. The president of AGI mentioned 3 days ago that the new tariffs that have been announced, in terms of direction, is consistent with what AGI policy says, AGI has been pushing for. And that is the fact that we should remove the cross-subsidy from energy tariffs and ensure that industry only pays energy as per the cost of supply to them. So the current review seems to point to that direction. However, we still make the point that energy cost in Ghana is still very high and it's making industry uncompetitive. So we should find solution to it. And the promise of adjusting the tariffs on quarterly basis will be monitored keenly by AGI, and we hope that we will achieve that ultimate result. We've also been asking questions whether we shouldn't actually dedicate the hydro to industry. It may sound very weird, but as I said, the hydro was built for industry. And in a very competitive environment where we now have the Continental Free Trade Agreement with us, and we are opening our doors for all goods to come in from different parts of Africa and competing with us, if you are not competitive on energy, you would not have competitive industry because energy constitutes a major cost of production. So we've been asking these questions. I know we may not have the answers today, but it's something seriously to reflect on. The conversation around net metering, we think, should also continue because some industries are trying to also generate some energy to support their operations, and all the feed-in tariffs and issues relating to that, we should continue in that stead. Let me also take the opportunity to urge our members that in the midst of high cost of energy, the way to reduce your energy cost is also practicing energy efficiency. And in this respect, AGI, with support from GISE, has established the AGI Energy Service Center, which is working very, very hard on this. We are visiting our members. We have consultants who help us to do energy audits within the companies. Some of you may not have embraced it, but we think it's a very important thing to do to improve your energy efficiency so that you reduce your cost. It is critical so that you survive in this challenging high cost of energy. Also related to that is the use of renewable energy, and the Energy Service Center is providing that. So on all discussions regarding energy, AGI has been involved, and we think that there should be much more discussions on how best we can improve the energy supply. And energy source. Yesterday we mentioned the fact that the nuclear energy is also very important to us. So whilst exploring other forms of energy, nuclear should seriously be considered. And I believe that if you put it all together, at the end of the day, what we want is consistent, reliable, and regular supply of energy at competitive price. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chumakwabwa, thank you very much for your remarks. The CEO of AGI. Up until Tuesday, I never knew there was an organization called the NPG. And then in the matter of 3 days, I get to introduce the boss there twice. Our next speaker is the Executive Director of Nuclear Power Ghana. Let's hear from Dr. Stephen Yamwa.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you all. The Honorable Deputy Minister for Energy, Honorable William Ureku Edu, the Secretary General after Secretariat, President of AGI, Chief Executive of VRA, CEOs and heads of institutions present, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to speak to you again, the Energy Day of the 5th edition of the Ghana Industrial Summit and Exhibition 2022. I align with the World Energy Council's statement that energy is the foundation stone of the modern industrial economy and provides an essential ingredient for almost all human activities. Modern, affordable, and sustainable energy services are a powerful engine of economic and social development, and no country has managed to develop much beyond subsistence economy without ensuring at least minimum access to energy services for a broad section of its population. Nuclear energy is a mature and proven low-carbon source of electricity with over 60-year track record of providing reliable and safe operation. Further innovation and technological advancements has made nuclear power plants more safer than in the past. Nuclear creates an opportunity for us to create jobs that will be decent and sustainable. In fact, nuclear provides an opportunity for careers, not just jobs. A successful nuclear program and project in Ghana would develop skills, create sustainable jobs, and create wealth. Honorable Minister, when we talk about infrastructure, we mean a system that provides legal, regulatory, technical, financial, social, human, and industrial support to ensure the effectiveness of our nuclear power program and ensure that the obligations of safety, security, and safeguards are met. The question that we pose to our industry is, are we in the right position? Are we ready? Or can we be ready or position ourselves as industry to take on the opportunities that the nuclear industry brings to strengthen the growth of our economy? it is essential that our industry positions and prepare itself for nuclear localization. This could be done with or without local companies forming international strategic partnerships and apply it to the fields such as engineering and procurement, manufacturing, construction, and construction management. Nuclear power projects demands very high standards, which is the challenge that must be overcome. Unfortunately, with nuclear, there is no other way around it. The necessary skills and certifications must be acquired and will be essential if industry aims to be part of the success story. Honorable Minister, nuclear localization program is very important issue. It does not only give our companies financial benefits if we prepare ourselves to take advantage of the supply chain, but also requires a master plan. We must engage and align. We at NPG are of the view that our industry has limited capacity and capability, so we need to work hard together in timely manner. We need to work hard together and in a timely manner. We think this is the way to go. There is no option. A nuclear industry readiness program needs to start well in advance before the first nuclear power plant is expected on the grid. Industry needs to be fully aligned and oriented before it tenders for nuclear work, any nuclear work. We are of the firm belief that our partnership with AGI will be sustained and will lead to both horizontal and vertical alignment for sustainable growth. Nuclear power plants provide one of the cleanest, most reliable and affordable sources of energy, but must be operated safely to protect the people and the environment under any circumstances. To achieve this, the DNA of today's nuclear power plants are based on internationally benchmarked quality and safety standards, from design and engineering to manufacturing, construction, as well as operations, waste management, and decommissioning. Compliance to these standards are rigorously regulated throughout the plant's life cycle management program, and never will it be compromised for anything. The nuclear industry codes and standards are similar to what is applicable in conventional power plants, but goes further in guaranteeing that the plant is built and operated to its exact design and safety specifications. The level of attention to detail and compliance requirements enhance level skills, industrial excellence, and safety culture. Special international nuclear codes and standards have been developed for each engineering discipline in any nuclear power plant. A dedicated nuclear quality management system guarantees the implementation of these standards, just as commercial organizations do with their ISO management systems. Honorable Minister, South Korea's developments in the nuclear power drove their industrial expansion programs. Today, they are considered as one of the leading high-tech exporters of nuclear technology. They have exported 4 units of nuclear power plants to United Arab Emirates and have built a robust supply chain in the nuclear industry. India is another country worth mentioning in this regard. Similarly, a well-established nuclear power program, not just for the purpose of adding base load to our generation mix or providing the appropriate green solution to our climate needs, but as a tool for industrial transformation to position our industry in the digital revolution in the digital industrial revolution that has found its way into the engineering, manufacturing, and construction sectors, and to improve our overall performance and open our industry to global export opportunities and those offered by AFTA. Nuclear Power Ghana, with the support of government, is progressing in all 4 broad thematic areas for the phase 2 of the nuclear program, namely vendor strategic partner selection, the selection of the preferred sites for the construction of the first power plant, community engagement and stakeholder management, and the development of policies, strategies, procedures, and plans for related nuclear project infrastructure. We believe Ghana's quest to add nuclear power to the generation mix will give us the needed energy security. We look forward to government's decision on the technology and the vendor partner very soon. We are currently drafting a report on the preferred site for regulatory review and approval. We are very confident that with the recent strides made, industry will take bold investment drive steps to partner the efforts of government as we conclude the phase 2 activities and begin the construction. NPG will continue to champion the nuclear power debate and address issues of public perception and concerns, along with the economic, environmental, and technical issues. MPG commits to engage industry and the public in dialogue on social, ethical, and economic issues as part of the long-term education to create informed decision-making processes and help to advance the role of nuclear power in the sustainable growth of industries. May God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make us great and strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yamwa, for giving us a sneak peek into what the future in Ghana will look like with nuclear power. Thank you very much. We'll now take a statement from the Petroleum Commission, and we would like to bring onto the stage Director for Local Content, Mr. Kweku Boateng.
Thank you, Kafui. Honorable Deputy Minister for Energy, Urikwedu, Deputy CEO of VRA, Mr. Kenzo, Chief Executive of AGI, Sergio Makabwa, and Director for Nuclear Power Energy, Captains of the Industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me first extend the apologies of my CEO, Mr. Abed Febi, who would have loved to participate in this event, but could not make it due to some other equally important national assignment. And he therefore requested that I represent him at this important summit. On behalf of the Petroleum Commission, I wish to express my profound gratitude for this invitation and for the opportunity to deliver a brief statement at this gathering ahead of challenging times facing Ghana and many other countries globally. It's always a delight to participate in a program organized by the AGI, reminding us of the unique role this organization has played and is still playing in enhancing competitiveness of Ghanaian manufacturing industry and promoting economic development of our dear country. AGI by this summit again has demonstrated its commitment to enhancing industrial growth in Ghana and support the government agenda to develop local capacities and expertise for increased participation of Ghanaian firms in economic activities. On behalf of the Petroleum Commission, I extend our sincere wishes to the success of this summit. Distinguished guests, the emergence of oil and gas industry in the last decade created high expectations for job creation, poverty reduction, and general prosperity for Ghanaians. The government resolved not to repeat mistakes of other resource-rich countries and took a strategic decision to promote the development of indigenous capabilities and use of local capacity in the exploitation of Ghanaian petroleum resources by approving the local content and local participation policy in 2011 and subsequent enactment of the local content and local participation regulations, LR 2004 in 2013. The primary objective of the policy and the regulation is to develop local capacities through education, skills transfer, expertise development, transfer of technology, and active research and development programs. To give full effect to the regulations and ensure that tenets of local content are achieved, the Petroleum Commission, which is legally mandated to implement the regulations, has and continues to develop a number of policies and legislations, as well as guidelines, to ensure that Ghana derives utmost benefit from our oil and gas resources. Ladies and gentlemen, some of these policies and guidelines include insurance placement for the upstream oil and gas sector, guidelines for the formation of joint venture companies in the upstream industry in Ghana, guidelines on company registration and participation in tender processes, procurement and build evaluation guidelines, research and development guidelines, local content fund operational guidelines, financial service guidelines for oil and gas industry, employment and training guidelines, technology transfer policy, and localization policy, among others. The Commission is fully aware that in order to achieve the objectives set out in the local content law, and also the government agenda of accelerated oil and gas capacity development program and maximization of in-country activity, it is imperative that we pay critical attention to the rare drivers for local content and local participation in oil and gas industry in Ghana. Accordingly, the Commission has painstakingly reviewed the existing processes in order to make them responsive and fit for purposes. Some of the steps taken in this direction include SMEs capacity building program. Specific measures have been put in place to ensure that indigenous Ghanaian companies are competitive through capacity building program and technology transfer programs. This year alone, under our Business Academy program, the Commission, in partnership with industry players, has organized 8 capacity building workshops for Ghanaian companies to build their technical capability in the industry. We have also established a petroleum register to provide up-to-date information on all petroleum agreements, details of licenses, shareholders, petroleum activities, and other information considered relevant to general public and in particular business community. The Commission, in its quest to build the information asymmetry which bias against Ghanaian companies, has developed an electronic portal system to provide an open and more accessible platform for companies, especially Ghanaian companies, to participate in tendering processes in the industry. The portal now allows all companies registered with the Petroleum Commission and easy access to procurement plans and real-time notifications on tenders and contracts. There are other measures that are also taken to promote local content in the oil and gas industry. With your permission, I'll mention a few of them. We have, as a matter of strategy, unbundled all contracts to smaller units, which is technically and commercially possible, to facilitate participation of small and medium-sized companies in the industry. We also, as a matter of strategy, shorten the duration of contracts to broaden participation of Ghanaian companies in those contracts. We have also reserved certain goods and services for the execution of only indigenous Ghanaian companies in the industry. We also specify bid evaluation criteria, giving greater weight for local content when in their scoring model, so that Ghanaian companies were able to win some of these big contracts. Further, we also specify minimum in-country spend and investment level for any contract scope that international oil companies tender for. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm highly elated to mention that after 8 years of the passage of LI 2004 and its implementation, the upstream sector in Ghana has witnessed notable achievements in local content development. The number of Ghanaian companies participating in the industry grew from 28 in 2012 to 488 in 2021. In terms of value of contracts, or value of service, out of a total of over $17 billion worth of contracts and purchase orders awarded between 2012 and 2021, indigenous Ghanaian company obtained $3.1 billion and $3.8 billion went to joint ventures involving indigenous Ghanaian companies. It should be noted, however, that over half of this $17 billion worth of contracts were awarded before the local content law became effective. Indeed, the petroleum industry has also witnessed significant increase in investment in infrastructure, facilities, and technologies, especially in Takoradi and its surrounding communities. It's worth mentioning that industry can now boast of both a North and valves factory, which serves not only the upstream oil and gas industry, but mining, construction, and other sectors. We now have chemical blending plants, which will blend chemicals, both standard chemicals and commodity chemicals, for oil and gas and other industry. We have about 8 fabrication yards newly constructed to serve oil and gas industry. We have assembly workshops to produce various parts and modules for the FPSOs and rigs and vessels for the oil and gas industry. We now have pipe coating plants that will coat pipes that are used for offshore operations here in Takoradi, not here, to mention just a few. Distinguished guests, let me avert our minds to the crux of this summit, investing in Ghanaian companies and leveraging on opportunities in the single market. The oil and gas industry continues to grow, rife with opportunities along the value chain, especially in marine and aviation services, engineering, fabrication, and construction services, water draining services, seismic data acquisition, processing and interpretation services, transportation, logistics, and other support services, in which the opportunities still exist for Ghanaian companies. It's worth noting that despite the success achieved in local content development, the level of participation of Ghanaian companies in high-value capital and technologically intensive sectors still remains low. The foreign companies still continue to dominate in the sophisticated oil field operations. Hence, leveraging on the benefits of a single market and the AFTA and the advantages proffered by local content regulations, indigenous Ghanaian companies stand better chance to access cheaper materials to provide competitive prices in the industry to increase their participation. They can also capitalize on existing capacity development in so-called low-hanging fruits and expand scope of the operations to other emerging oil and gas countries, such as Senegal, Liberia, Mauritania, and in East Africa. The Ghanaian companies can also leverage on partnership arrangements to deliver technological intensive sectors and enhance their capacities and capabilities. Mr. Chairman, I wish to state that opportunities presented by the single market also comes with its own challenges for Ghanaian businesses. And I believe that it's important that as we deliberate on issues in the summit, we have read our minds with some challenges Ghanaian companies in oil and gas industry may face in the advent of AFTA. Straight competition from matured oil and gas producing and service countries such as Nigeria, South Africa, or even Angola may crowd out Ghanaian businesses that are small and poorly structured. Insufficient financing opportunities for local companies and relatively high financing costs may also pose competitive challenge for Ghanaian companies and AFTA. High cost of in-country fabrication, the fabrication in Ghana, as against overseas fabrication, due to limited scale of operations in Ghana, may drive investment abroad. I recall that when we were constructing our last FPSO, John Ajikim Kufuor, and we insisted that as part of local content, they must fabricate such a number of modules here in Ghana. In fact, the modules that were manufactured here in Ghana, the average cost for most of them, all of them, were about 3 times higher than the modules that were fabricated in Singapore, 4 times higher than the ones that were fabricated in China. So we need to really work to bring the cost of operations down. Another challenge that we expect Ghanaian companies to face in AFTA is inadequate technical certifications among indigenous Ghanaian companies may shift technical contract scope to foreign entities. And also, lack of national trade and industrial policy to back local content policy or regulations may also limit protection offered to Ghanaian companies under local content regulations. Further, there are certain provisions in AFTA that may be inconsistent with the tenets of local content regulations, and this may potentially erode some of the gains we have chalked so far in oil and gas industry. I entreat this gathering to deliberate on these issues and propose ways of addressing these challenges. As for, our doors are open and remain open for any constructive suggestion to overcome these challenges. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before I resume my seat, let me mention that to give greater inputs to local content drive, the Ministry of Energy recently, in collaboration with the Petroleum Commission, has made limited amendments to the local content regulations to give greater control to indigenous Ghanaian companies in the delivery of projects and contracts, and also to enhance their competitiveness, facilitate technology transfer, and promote flexibility in business operation, as well as to reduce the risk of foreign companies operating in oil and gas industry in Ghana. The amendment made under LI 2435 will now introduce channel partnership and strategic alliance between indigenous Ghanaian companies and foreign companies as an additional avenue for foreign companies to participate in the oil and gas industry. Prior to this amendment, the only avenue for foreign companies to operate within the upstream space was to form joint ventures with Ghanaian companies. Now, with these 2 amendments, we have created 2 channels for foreign companies to also operate in the oil and gas industry. And we believe that this will drive investment to the industry in the area of energy transition. But Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by saying a big thank you to all individuals and institutions, including AGIs, whose hard work and contribution has brought the oil and gas industry in Ghana to this far. Like I always say, the oil industry is still evolving, and so I urge all not to rest on our oars, but continue to partner with the Petroleum Commission and the Ministry of Energy on this journey, and let's develop the industry together and make it a world class. I thank you once again for this audience, and respectfully entreat you to take keen interest in the presentations and deliberations that have been lined up for this gathering. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boateng, for telling us what's happening in the petroleum sector, all the developments and the things we can look forward to. We thank you very much. Before our guest of honor, I'd like to cede the microphone to the president of the AGI for a couple of remarks, Dr. Humphrey Ayim Dake.
Thank you, Kafui. Colleagues, I guess this is just a formality to welcome the colleagues on stage, so as they feel at home that I'm offering them a good platform to do what is needful. So just to say good morning and say thank you for your attendance and thank you for participating in this engagement. To the Deputy Minister, Oreku and I engage on a few institutional boards, so we know how to do it. Senior, I'm grateful for your attendance. And then to colleagues from VRA and their support, Mr. Kenzo, and to Dr. Stephen Yamwa. I don't want to call them the new kid on the block, but I believe they are game changers in the tariff space, considering the current rate that came up a couple of days ago. Thank you for your attendance, Doc. And then to Kweku Boateng, I seek to use Kweku Boateng's outfit as my short remarks, a little bit provocative, because walking in and seeing the engagement going on, the room seems a bit dull some way. Mr. MC, I don't feel the vibe of the summit today. So therefore, reflecting, and I got a text message from my manager that, Mr. President, would you say something? I said, oh, I thought I wasn't slated for it. But as provocative as I can be, listening to Kweku. So Kweku becomes the standard. And you recall on the first day, I provoked the minister. Then, Mr. Minister, what are you doing about local content? And he was brilliant, very eloquent in telling us a few very political correct statements. Am I correct? And then Kweku today comes in and demonstrates to us what local content in the energy space is doing for Ghanaian enterprises. So I will provoke the deputy minister when he comes here, that how far are you extending the local content to the other chains beyond the PC's, that's Petroleum Commission's angle? I got a lot of colleagues here who are into manufacturing of cables, meters, other inputs into the electricity space. We want to see more testimonies. And that is when we can move this country forward. In the engagement with the minister on the first day, he asked me, Doc, but I can't see a lot of your seniors. When he says my seniors, whenever you pass by the AGI office, you see the, picture gallery, and watch the past presidents and then colleagues in the space. I told the minister, Mr. Minister, my colleagues are getting frustrated. And he said, why? I said, the manufacturing space is frustrating because when you don't find local content to assure longevity and guarantee a business space for indigents, and we are struggling to make it a survival issue. When you meet them off the stage, they have frank discussions with you. And to give it to Kweku and his boss, Egbert, anytime I chance on him and at the Labadi base, we have frank discussion, and he's demonstrating it. And we dare say to other agencies and ministries, it's about time we go beyond the rhetoric and demonstrate local content in various sectors of our economy. And that is when you come across us, we'll see a lot of energy, and the room will be bubbling with a lot of smiles. You see, the whole room is some way, Mr. Minister. Let's go beyond the rhetoric and create space for local content. To our colleagues from VRA, we urge you on and we look forward to the Pualugu project. Our prayer is that as you expand, we will benefit from the irrigation and let it transform the agri-sector. I'm so passionate about it these days, and anytime I engage, we can't just imagine how the food basket of our inflationary issues will be food. Once we have that arable land, we have water. Elsewhere, you don't find this. And therefore, when we see the inflation being driven by food, you wonder why should it be the case. So seeing that the VRA is exploring beyond power, we will be there to engage and advocate on your cause. And my prayer is, as you climb the ladder, let it be part of your legacy, that the irrigation of the Pualugu Plains and the food basket into the years will change and transform our country. And that is when the one district, one factory will be realized in terms of raw materials that we could add value to. To the MPG, our prayer is that you hurry up, because the tariffs, as much as we've been advocating, Oreku and his boss decided to appeal to us by tweaking the crop subsidy such that we could praise them. Don't be surprised when he mounts the podium. That will be his real engagement for today. We give it to you. We acknowledge it. But we're excited about that. But as we proceed, we believe the tariffs will drop and then let the mix be reflected. And therefore, we call on Dr. Yamo's team to speed up their engagement. The myth about nuclear over the past has been watered down. And with Dr. Amo and his team and knowledge, and as we try to bridge the gap with the educational agenda, moving the lower class to the middle class, the awareness is there. We believe speed up and we'll partner you to expand. On the said note, I wish us a further discussion, and let's bring some more life into the room. Thank you.
And that's exactly why we had you speak before our special guest of honor, to ginger him and put some spark into the conversation. Our next speaker is the Honorable Member of Parliament for the good people of Efija, Kwabre South in the Ashanti region, and also Deputy Minister for Energy. Let's welcome the Honorable William Oreku Adu.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
Permit me, please, to stand on the existing protocols. But I would like to acknowledge my brother, Kwame Jantua, and my sister, Dr. Ajeni Boateng. I hope you're well. It's good to see you. Good. This speech is on behalf of my boss, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe. It is a delight to join you here today for this important summit. And he says hello to everybody who is currently out of the jurisdiction. I would like first to congratulate the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, for putting together the Ghana Industrial Summit and Expo 2020 with the support of the Ministry of Trade and Industry and our very own VRA and other reputable local industries. Mr. President, bringing together all the 32 sectors of the AGI with focus on manufacturing, agribusiness, energy, construction, and the financial sector is truly admirable, and I pray for your continued success in this endeavor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the 21st century, any country that aspires to industrialize as part of its economic agenda and to assure its people of a decent quality of life must necessarily ensure that its citizens have access to stable, efficient, and affordable power supply. The Minister for Energy and the Ministry of Energy has two key objectives for the sector, namely keeping the lights on all times and making petroleum products available. In line with the above objectives, The ministry has been working with key stakeholders to ensure that the challenge industry faces with power supply and the corresponding cost is gradually eliminated. The reason is to ensure that industry functions effectively to create the needed jobs for the good people of Ghana. To keep the lights on, Mr. President, we have been pursuing important policies and investing in the infrastructure projects to address the challenging issues of excess capacity payment arising out of numerous power purchase agreements contracted on take and pay basis. The Ministry of Energy has directed that any new power purchase agreement entered into has to be on take and pay basis. It is refreshing to note that we have been engaging prospective developers successfully in that regard. We are also working with the key stakeholders to ensure that we follow the various supply plans effectively to avert future capacity deficits. To address power stability challenges in the middle belt of the country, steps are being taken to establish several generation plants in this part of the country. The Ghana Grid Company on the transmission front is also undertaking upgrade projects to take care of the load growth. Several other new projects are being pursued to have a robust transmission system. On the power distribution front, my ladies and gentlemen, we have recently witnessed the commissioning of key projects like the Pokuase, Kasua, UGMC, and the Kanda substations, among others, all with the aim of improving the power distribution system with the support from the Millennium Challenge Corporation and other development partners. In the bid to improve the collection rate within ECG and NEDCO, the ministry is looking at introducing private sector participation in the retail end of power distribution in Ghana. It is expected that this would roll out to other components of the electricity value chain later on when the benefits of the concept have been established. One of the objectives of the National Electrification Scheme is to ensure the development of small-scale industries in all parts of the country. This is consistent with the One District, One Factory initiative being pursued by this government. Electricity coverage in Ghana currently stands at 87.19% of the population. We are undertaking several electrification projects to ensure that we achieve universal access relatively very soon. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue to make the right investment in the power sector because if a single African market is to become a reality, then a robust energy factor is a huge part of that conversation. The Ministry of Energy stands in readiness to play its role in ensuring that this conversation about a single African market achieves its goal to enable the continent to rise as a formidable global force. And together, we should be able to achieve this. That is the message from my boss. And now, before I sit down, I have to comment a bit of on what the CEO said about the tariff regime. And Mr. President, you also mentioned it. And I'm glad that the AGI have acknowledged the direction that government has taken in bringing down the cost of energy for industry. And we're going to continue to do all we can to shift the burden from industry slightly towards the residential. Because I think Ghana is the only place in the world where residential pays less than industry. And this is something that we are working to do away with gradually. It has to be gradual. And then you mentioned dedicating more hydro to industry. That, I think, in the calculation of PURC was taken into account. And that is what I believe led to the relatively small increase in the tariff for industry. Net metering, that is very, very important. More and more companies are investing in renewables. And net metering is very much on the agenda of the ministry with the help of some of our development partners. And that I am very sure within a reasonably short time, the conversation will be concluded, and then we will see. I will be a beneficiary myself because I have a few solar panels on my house, and I am waiting for the net metering policy to be rolled out. NPG. Mr. President, you're asking NPG to hurry up so that you have your tariffs come down. It is very true. But in addition, if Cabinet decides to, there are two possible ways to achieving the nuclear energy in the system. There's the small modular reactors and the big ones. And I am hoping that the big one will be chosen, because the investment will be something in around $8 billion. $8 billion. And that obviously will bring a whole lot of opportunities for industry in Ghana, and then employment that goes with it. So it's MPG, apart from eventually helping to bring down the tariff, also potential for a lot of business for our people and employment possibilities. Today, I think of all the statements that have been given, I think one of the probably most important one was the one from PC, the Petroleum Commission, on the local content and local participation. It is something very dear to the heart of the President of the Republic. And I must congratulate PC for a wonderful job, especially Kweku, for a wonderful job that they've done in bringing out this local content, the various allies that goes with it. And I think Ghanaians, we are not really being proactive. The opportunities are huge. When you hear something in the region of what, 6 billion, 3 billion for Ghanaian companies, indigenous Ghanaian, $3 billion, that is ginormous. And I wish Ghanaian businesses, indigenous Ghanaian businesses, will come together to get the financial muscle to compete with the foreign companies, because they come in with huge financial backing. And individual Ghanaian companies just cannot match. You can't just compete. But I think it's about time business people here in Ghana came together and form partnerships that will afford you the opportunity to compete on equal footing, because the opportunities there are just mind-blowing. And it's going to continue to get bigger and bigger. Of course, there's a whole lot of talk about energy transition, but the president has made it absolutely clear to anybody that will listen around the world that we are going to continue to exploit our hydrocarbons to develop, because we just can't allow our hydrocarbons to be stranded under our feet. So the opportunities are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So I urge you to start averting your mind to taking advantage of the local content and local participation laws that are available and the business that are available to be taken advantage of. Mr. President, the challenge you threw at me, I will pass on that because it's going to be just political, like you put it, talk. But efforts are being made all over the different ministries to increase the participation of local businesses in the businesses at the various ministries, especially our end, the Ministry of Energy. The cable manufacturers, we are in talk with them, because as try as we may, people will come, take businesses for local manufacturers, and before you know it, they go out and then bring it into the country. There's a very big challenge there that we are working on, and we hope we will surmount the challenges So be assured that we are doing something about it to increase the Ghanaian participation in the energy space. I thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Minister, for your remarks. And that takes us nicely to the end of this first session. Just to remind you of the sponsors who have made this year's event possible. We want to thank the EU, excuse me. So we're thanking the EU Business Linkages Investment Promotion Project, VRA, Nuclear Power Ghana, Bui Power Authority, Fidelity Bank, GISE Invest for Jobs, Ghana Stock Exchange, Development Bank Ghana, GIPC, Impact Investing Ghana, McGill University and MasterCard Scholars Program, the Ghana Shippers Authority. Our media partners include City 97.3, City TV, Daily Graphic, BNFT, DDP Outdoors, and GP Communications. We're going to take a nice group photo outside by the stairs which overlook the swimming pool, after which we'll have a guided tour of the exhibition and we'll go for a snack break. We'll return here at 11:40 for the continuation of the program. We have 4 tech sessions on energy transition, nuclear technology safety, and there's going to be a panel, in fact 3 tech sessions and then a panel discussion which is going to be moderated by Professor Seth K. Deborah. So for now, we're going to take a photo by the pool on the stairs, and then we'll go around for the exhibition tour. Today is dedicated to energy. Members of the platform, kindly make your way down. So we'll follow you and go and take our photos outside. Okay, they want a photo. Okay, I think we want to take a photo. Are you, okay, all right. Okay, we can go. All right. Here we go. I see. Nice. Small exercise. If you so. Thank you. And after they leave, kindly follow them outside to the stairs. You need to feature in that group photo so that your picture appears in next year's brochure as being part of the event. We'll go for a snack. We'll return here at 11:40 for the 3 tech sessions and the panel discussion that will take us to lunch. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the morning. And I'll see you back here, God willing, 11:40. Thank you.
The Living Business Series is an initiative of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. It is a recognition of the efforts of indigenous Ghanaian businesses making an impact in local communities in the 10 regions of the country. Who will be tomorrow's Club 100 companies? The future captains of industry. We traveled across the country to find them, big and small, as they invested in creating wealth and opportunity in their local communities. Intravenous Infusions Limited is an example of a truly enduring Ghanaian enterprise, established in 1974. 42 years on, they are certainly doing something right.
Our core business, as our name suggests, is the production of IV fluids. And also, we do produce injectables.
Located in the eastern region, their location has given them many advantages, from a preferential corporate tax rate of 18.75% to various other exemptions.
For us in the pharmaceutical industry, who are actually manufacturing in Ghana, we benefit from tax exemptions, and that helps us to stay very competitive.
This truly indigenous Ghanaian business is making waves across the sub-region, tapping into a growing sub-regional market across neighboring countries.
We export our products to La Côte d'Ivoire, the Burkina, Togo, Benin, and also parts of Nigeria.
Prefus assembles high-quality street lighting units across the country. It is based in the Ashanti region, where it serves a vital complementary role in infrastructure development. It absorbs various technically trained youth from the tertiary and technical institutes in the Ashanti region. Baba Yabdo of Yabco Focus Company Limited saw an opportunity in an indigenous household activity of fruit processing, something local women in the Upper East region and indeed across the country engage in. He made a living business out of the opportunity that today has won the company many awards.
We process baobab into juice, mango, and tamarind. These are trees that are commonly found within the Upper East region.
The business is creating work for many youth, especially young girls who might have had to be forced into marriage otherwise.
By 2014, we had about 21 women groups that actually go into the processing of the baobab powder for us to buy. We also have other organizations that have also developed interest and are supporting us by engaging other women. There is an NGO in Paga as a result of this initiative that has created jobs for 6,000 women and youth who process the baobab for us to go and buy and produce the juices.
Carmez produces lime products that are used in the gold processing, road construction, and water treatment industries. Based in Ghana's western region, this company has been operating for over 22 years.
All the gold mining companies in Ghana, we have been supplying them with lime, and other West African countries all these years. Almost every day there is a delivery to a mine site. We've won the silver medal, we've won bronze tax award, being a good taxpayer.
Kantanka Motors is the culmination of a dream and passion for mechanical invention of Apostle Safo Kantanka. Today, that dream is now a fully fledged automobile assembly plant in the central region.
By the next 10 years, the next decade, we'll find Ghanaian roads covered with about 50% of Kantanka. It's a very high market share, because Ghana imports roughly 70,000 cars in a year. So if Kantanka is producing 35,000 in the Ghanaian market a year, it's a very big breakthrough.
A child psychologist and teacher turned agronomist and organic food processor, Mabel Ann Okata started Okata Farms in 2005. Okata Farms is an award-winning organization recognized several times for the quality and the excellence of its operation.
Okasa Farms is a multi-crop farm, and it's an agro-processing company as well. And we have a variety of crops, ranging from rice. We have different varieties of rice. Then we have our maize, we have cassava, we have cocoyam, we have palm, we have cocoa.
Mabel is passionate to the core about growing food to feed the nation. You can see it in the smile on her face.
The greatest satisfaction that I get is to put one seed in the ground and harvest bags of rice, bags of maize, get bags of gari.
She has created work for over 3,000 farmers all across the Volta and Northern region. In the Upper West region, less than a kilometer from the border, is Tequila Farms Estates. This man's passion is to add value to primary crops in order to reduce the crippling poverty that besets many communities in the Upper West region.
Tequila Farms, with this machinery, take 4 to 5 hours to produce shea butter, which the women folk take 5 days, between 4 and 5 days to do. So you can see we are adding value to our products, and we are saving time, and we are actually in employment of over 2,000 shea nut pickers.
The export of fresh mango was the business case that launched the establishment of Integrated Tamale Food Company.
ITFC came into being in the year 2000 with the aim of growing organic mango and exporting fresh organic mango.
But challenges in exporting fresh fruit quickly soon necessitated a change in the product choice of the company, from fresh fruit to dried fruit.
ITFC's raw materials have produced in Gushe here and the surrounding communities, which is in Ghana.
Ernest Bediaku started his pharmaceutical company 20 years ago as a sole proprietorship. It is a giant in the Ghanaian market, exporting to Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Senegal, and Nigeria. It is licensed to manufacture its own generic brands at its manufacturing plant set up in Tema in 2001. Mr. Sam Owusu Bennett is a true son of Sunyani. He started by running a chemical shop, later going into the construction supplies, and eventually into the hospitality industry.
After I've reached my climax in the building materials business, it was like you have to diversify the business. So I thought of a hotel doing. But my conception about hotel was, well, if I close from my shop, let me get to the hotel. How many people slept? 5, 10. Then I'll collect my money, then I will leave. Not knowing I was going to something bigger than that.
From 15 rooms to 138 rooms, Mr. Bennett couldn't believe the progress.
And within about 3-4 months, anytime you come, the room is full. People are eating, people are, enthused about the place. And I said, so what kind of business is this? And even with a new conference hall that we've built, there are about 5 rooms that is going to add up to make it more than 140.
We thank all these small and medium-scale businesses all across the country making an effort, investing in their local community. We encourage them to think Ghana.
Think Ghana first.
Think Ghana.
Think Ghana.
Think Ghana.
Make it happen.
West Africa's second largest economy, Ghana. A place of immeasurable beauty, vast resources, and a warm people. When I think about Ghana, I think about the potential.
Ghana is a
a gateway of West Africa, because anything Ghana does, the West African other countries start following.
Ghana is Africa for beginners. So if you're coming new to the continent, it would be a great place to start. And Ghana is not difficult.
Ghana is always one of the top 3 priority countries in Africa. So it is relevant for anybody not in Ghana to seriously review the opportunities within the country and to take the steps to invest in Ghana.
The economy is expanding, driven by good cocoa harvests, construction, transport, and increases in gold and oil production.
Ghana is quite a new oil-producing country since 2009, with a lot of opportunity for new development. But as well, Ghana now has 2 fields which is operating, the Jubilee field and the 10 field.
These semi-finished cocoa products are going to be used by the most well-known chocolatier in the world. The quality is recognized worldwide as being the best one.
The business climate is attractive, continuously improving. The private sector is growing, and investments are safe.
For the investor who is coming to Ghana, Ghana is very safe.
People are very warm, wealthy. Second is they're very well educated. You can train them properly, and they are really, if they train, they are a very good resource over here.
There are real opportunities for public-private partnerships in infrastructure development, power generation, manufacturing, and agro-processing.
So the opportunities are there for businessmen to exploit, and I think over the years we are going to see more of them.
The economy is going to continue to grow, and the Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority have a very interesting vision and a project to expand Tama Port.
The ECOWAS sub-region has a market size of over 300 million customers. The rise of a more affluent middle class and demand for products and services makes it a region not to be ignored. It's a great place to live, to invest, and make things happen.
Ghana has one of the best talent pools, especially when you look across Africa.
Ghana has possibility to extend the agriculture. Of course, Ghana has peace, and Ghana has an overture, an opening eye to the European countries.
If you decide to come to West Africa, and especially to Ghana, then invest, work for it, and I will guarantee you, you will be successful.
Very smart Ghanaians, very intelligent people around who can help investors achieve the objectives for which they come.
Let's make it happen.
This land is rich, rich with potential and resources.
If we could do it, then you can do it. And it can happen in Ghana.
Ghana is still a very good place to invest. Ghana is the future.
I can't think of a better place. Think Ghana. Make it happen. Ghana is a leader in liberalizing its telecoms market in Africa. It has one of the highest mobile penetration rates across the continent.
We have a very vibrant telecoms market. We have voice penetration at 130%. We have data penetration at 68%. So that's very positive for the market.
We have seen a kind of an exponential growth in the way customers are adopting to technology. Ghana is a very young country. The average age of Ghanaians is less than 30, and that's a very good situation to be in.
The regulatory framework, although robust, is receptive to the needs of the industry.
The regulator is very conscious of what is going on in the world, so we have to go according to how the rest of the world is going.
I think Ghana stands shoulder ahead of most of its contemporaries. This country has done quite tremendously well in creating the regulatory environment.
ICT companies, both small and medium-scaled, are gaining a reputation as one of Africa's most dynamic tech startups.
The new opportunities are in the value-added service area.
And I've seen people embrace it, and I've also seen government embrace it. There have been very few obstacles, especially here in Ghana. We have made the right investments.
ICT is one area which when I came in 6 years ago, was big gaps between that time and now. If you look at a lot of entrepreneurs and ICT is coming, a lot of mobile apps is coming in Ghana.
With many submarine high-speed internet cables junctioned off the coast, Ghana is the regional center for the flow of data.
Ghana had 5 submarine cables, even before bigger countries like Nigeria had. Google's here, deploying metropolitan fiber infrastructure. It does say a lot about the perception of the investment community in the Ghana market.
Well, in West Africa, it is Ghana.
The digital economy is about to explode as we see convergence on the lower cost of mobile data usage and mobile money transaction systems. Ghana is the 6th African country to introduce 4G LTE technology. Its growth makes it more favorable for international companies to look at Ghana.
All our technicians, our engineers are locals, and we are very proud about it. We have been able to incorporate these skill sets in these people, and we are managing a highly technical setup with all local staff.
I feel very comfortable over here because a lot of foreign investors are here. They are doing well in this country.
There is a wave of opportunity coming for e-services and e-government. Ride that wave. Think Ghana. Make it happen. Think big. Think Ghana. That is the philosophy of Ghana's first president and the force behind his plans for the rapid industrialization of Ghana. A nation with limitless natural resources, from earth to sky, bursting with potential and a wide array of long-term advantages for industrial producers. Ghana's Domestic Enterprise Development Program is helping to chart a new direction, turning around its manufacturing potential.
There's also a fast infrastructure development agenda on the side of the government to ensure that businesses that would come into the country do have the necessary support and facilities, to help them, kickstart whatever business ventures they want to undertake in Ghana.
Encouraging Ghanaians to patronize Made in Ghana brands is a sure way to revive its local industries and create jobs.
I've had the good fortune of working in many different countries, and I can say that Ghana has one of the best talent pools, especially when you look across Africa.
You can train them properly, and they are really, if they train, they are a very good resource over here.
We are steadily pushing to increase export earnings, to create an economy that can effectively substitute its need for imports.
Of course, the benefit of processing in this country is far more than exporting the raw material out of this country.
We're actually importing from outside, and we realized that, visiting their factories, this is something that we can do. So we said to ourselves, I think the time is now for us to really bring in semi-finish and finish according to the customer's specification and needs.
With access to a regional market of over 300 million people, and 100% duty-free access to the EU markets, Ghana offers advantages that are compelling and hard to ignore.
The market size is tremendous and the opportunities are immense.
The resources are there. Land is in abundance, as we can see.
Labor is available and people are ready to work as well.
Steel manufacturing currently at 70,000 tons per month, and with the potential to meet a market demand that far exceeds the current supply. Local pharmaceutical companies meet only 30% of the domestic demand. Many established manufacturing firms are making Ghana their regional hub. They recognize that the proximity to a growing middle class means they are closer to meeting the increased demand for goods and services that is as certain as the coming of day. Whilst there are challenges, there is a greater optimism that we can overcome them.
There is not a single government over the years that we have found to be anti-business.
So think Ghana and get ready to make it happen. Ghana entered the club of oil-producing countries in 2010, resulting in a 14% growth in its economy. Ghana has diverse energy resources, including hydropower, hydrocarbons, wind and solar.
Ghana is quite a new oil-producing country since 2009, with a lot of opportunity for new development. But as well, Ghana has 2 fields which is operating, the Jubilee field and the 10 field.
Since 2007 and the discovery of the Jubilee fields, an additional 23 discoveries have been made. Oil production is set to ramp up to reach a targeted 242 million barrels a day. As the demand for energy increases by 33%, the country will need to produce a combined total of 5,000 megawatts to achieve universal access to energy by 2020.
Ghana imports a lot of LPG for both industrial and domestic use. And we thought that it would be good for the economy if we could produce our own LPG, save this country some foreign currency.
With investments in hydrocarbons and gas proficient in fuels for electricity generation.
The trial with Freeport is a fascinating project. Clearly, with the growth of the oil and gas industry in Ghana, there is an increasing demand for infrastructure to support the companies operating in that field. And so this is a project that is looking to support not just Ghana's industry,